As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. I was born into freedom in a wonderful land of mountains and plains, rivers and lakes. Forever American is what I am. A past as rich as any can be. My father's worked hard to give this to me. I love this place I come from. To live another way I cannot foresee. As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. As an American, I've been to the peaks of majestic mountains where the air is sweet. I've watched the eagle as it soars in beautiful skies that just can't be ignored. And by this country I'll always stand, for freedom and liberty for every man. When times are hard and things get rough, America always stands ready and rough. As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American,
Well, hello. Welcome to Real News Live. I'm glad you guys are here tonight. Hi, Beth. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Debbie Rogers. Hi, Nana. Hi, Pam. Hi, Tia. Hi, Matt. Hi, Rodney. How you guys doing tonight? Hit that like button and that share button for us if you're in here. Obviously, we've got a lot of viewers not here yet, but God bless you guys all that are here. Hi, Minnie, and hi, Lynn. I just see you guys are in here as well. Hi, Billy. Hello. Today, more than 50 activists, of course, marched on Capitol Hill, protesting the war in Ukraine, calling lawmakers to push the Biden administration to negotiate an end to the war. But, of course, the sit-in that happened outside of Bernie Sanders' office, congressional aides demanded that the sit-in inside the senator's office end. Several senior citizens, including a handicapped elderly woman, was handcuffed by officers and escorted out. So this is a peaceful protest that happened, a sit-in, which happens all the time, of course, and these are legal. We're watching them get arrested now because they're progressive, because they're conservatives. It's ridiculous. The war needs that. Our money needs to stop flowing to other countries. End of story. But arresting people for sitting in on a protest is ridiculous. Tens of thousands of people are dying in Ukraine every day. The perceived reluctance of the Biden administration to try to negotiate the end of the war, and of course, stating the only win is going to be destroying Moscow or destroying Putin, is just ridiculous. Democratic lawmakers are totally against anything that would end the war. They're falling on silence. They won't answer any questions as they continue to support more war packages and more weapons without calling for any type of negotiation. This is sad. Ukrainian security aid backers giving, of course, them what they want every time they ask. People are saying, enough with the negotiations. You cannot do that without negotiating or trying to end the war. It is sad. Sad that people that are legally protesting, getting arrested for protesting, something our Constitution is supposed to guarantee, but of course it's not happening anymore. Our Constitution is pretty much garbage at this point. Meanwhile, you have Nancy Pelosi crying and whining because the interim Speaker of the House now has asked her to vacate her office in the Capitol. And not just her, several other people. I mean, Nancy Pelosi needs to get out of her office. Patrick McHenry has every right to order her out of her workspace in the U.S. Capitol building. Of course, this happened just hours after the shamefully abruptly leadership shakeup. And of course, she was asked to leave her space immediately. I mean, we have a lot of important decisions to make, and I think it's ridiculous that, of course, they went on leave for a week to cry and whine about losing McCarthy as their Speaker of House, which is just ridiculous. But ordering these people to vacate their offices, I think, is totally legitimate. Steve Howie, the Democrat from Minnesota, the former House Majority Leader, also was asked to leave his Capitol office space. Why does he still have it? That's my question. And what's going on in the Capitol, that they all need their supposedly best office spaces, like what's happening here. I mean, it's ridiculous. Of course, the Speaker pro tem is going to reassign H123 for Speaker of the House use, because that's what it should be used for. That office was designed for that. It's a bigger office and made for that location. So after to vacate the room, and the room will be rekeyed according to today or tonight. We'll find out if it actually happens. But like most House members, it maintains a regular office in the Cannon House building. But the thing is, if they're no longer a House member, like Pelosi, and they've left the office and they left their position in the Capitol, what are they still doing there? Former Speaker, she also had access to hideaway spaces within the Capitol itself. The Speaker's role has sole authority to dole out prized Capitol real estate. So the eviction is a sharp departure from what they call tradition, as Democrats have been leading the House for a while. She said, and of course in her statement, former Speaker Hurstein significantly larger office suits, and they say they should be able to stay there as long as they wish. That's what their opinion is. They should be able to stay in that office. Who served as Speaker of the House, Hashtier, served as Speaker of the House from 1990 to 2007, still has his office. These Democrats don't want to give up their seats, and neither do Republicans. They have these plush offices, and they want to keep American dollars going towards them. If they're no longer serving in the House or the Senate, they should no longer be occupying spaces as a legislative branch of the government. End of story. Let's move on with this. Pelosi, of course, does not like this. And of course, the 13 Republican senators want to recess cancel until the funding bill is passed, of course, but they're all out crying. More than a dozen Republican senators, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, want to cancel Senate's October recess and get the body working on passing appropriations bills for November 17th deadline. And that's what they should be doing. You don't go on vacation if the country doesn't have a budget set forward and you're just pushing it off. That's not a vacation time for anybody. Wouldn't you like to just go on vacation when your work is having the busiest time period of the year? Well, that's what they're doing. Of course, the Senate was scheduled to take the week of October 8th off as a period for members to do work in their own home states. The problem is, while valuable work is being done while senators are back in their home states, it's imperative that they remain in D.C. until appropriations work can be done and completed. That's what American people expect, and that's what they deserve. Let's be honest, this is ridiculous. Debate over the government funding has been loudest in the House, where, of course, interim GOP conflicts nearly led to the government shutdown last week. And a last-second continuing resolution kept the government funded until November 17th. Of course, little change to the budget. This is sad. We know the Democrats want to push through a funding for Ukraine, which we need to stop. The only way that's going to happen is sit there and negotiate it out. Hammer out the problems. Without hammering out the problems, we'll never see what we truly need to happen. It is sad, but it is true. It is just ridiculous right now that they went on vacation. Well, there's massive problems going on in, of course, the House that need to be passed. They're not working, but they're getting paid. Let's be honest, the senators don't really do stuff at their home states. That's what governors and state senators are for. And we got, of course, Bob Menendez contact to allegedly interfere with criminal cases, saying two people were trying to become the New Jersey U.S. State Attorney's Office, and the third was trying to become the State Attorney General at the time. We're using him as bribery to interfere in the criminal matters in exchange for payoffs. Now, of course, the FBI is looking more into this, has learned that the names of the people who he allegedly wanted to pressure, according to numerous sources familiar with the matter. Now, two of the people that were trying to become the state's U.S. attorneys, and the third at the time was New Jersey Attorney General. Three officials allegedly contacted are unnamed at the time, but several sources say Menendez improperly reached out to the state attorney generals and current U.S. Attorney General, all to try to put pressure on them politically, to try to get these charges gone, trying to corruptly fix the two criminal matters that, of course, he's involved in right now. And this is just sad because this is a sitting member of the House. Of course, this all unfolding, finding out more of this happening. I wonder how many other members that are in the House and the Senate right now are actually causing issues like this. They're using, of course, the justice system to their benefit, pushing, of course, down any charges that could come forward against them. And now it's just now being called out. I wonder if this impeachment inquiry has anything to do with it being called out. Of course, that information is not being released right now. When you watch this, though, and watch it unfold, you know Menendez and Biden himself were friends, so it doesn't take a long stretch to say there is ties to this investigation coming forward because of information that they're subpoenaing. Jim Jordan would be a good speaker. Yeah, the New York judge hearing Trump's case is just a joke. And the New York Attorney General denounces Trump's comments as being race baiting, first of all. You cannot, now she's going publicly, of course, and attacking Trump, saying that he's race baiting, of course, today. And of course, Trump faces a trial on business fraud charges. That's what he's doing right now. But Trump reportedly called James a racist on True Social post about the case. And that's true. I mean, there's also attacks against the judge and one of his clerks. Of course, the judge ordered a gag order, where Trump cannot talk publicly about the case at all. But now, of course, these attacks on him, Trump's claims were offensive, they're baseless, they're void of any facts or evidence. We know she wanted to prosecute him when he was getting elected into office. A gag order against him now, and she's sitting there dissing him in public opinion. She should have a gag order at this point. This is fundamentally unconstitutional. You have a prosecutor working for the U.S. government prosecuting a private citizen and using public debate to attack him when he can't make any comment or concern against her, whether favorable or unfavorable. Freedom of speech is out of the window here. Having another political witch hunt, which is proposed for election interference at this point, let's be honest, it's crazy. You got the same person driving business out of New York, the one, of course, attacking Trump, and New York's losing businesses at record numbers. She should be impeached for falsifying documents. Let's be honest, Murcielago's value being a prime example, how can it be worth $18 million? I just don't get it. I never will. I'm guessing that property is at least $400 million. 350 to 400 million. I mean, it's a big chunk of property in prime real estate in that area. And that's just not me saying that. We have, of course, other buyers that bought 4 or 5 lots, being 1 or 2 acres apiece, for over 200 million, just vacant lots. We're talking about much more property than that already developed. Watching this trial go forward is a joke. Prosecutors argue that Trump and his adult son committed business fraud by purposely inflating and deflating values of their assets to get better deals on loans and insurance. I guarantee her husband is guilty of the same thing. Guarantee it. He's in real estate, so of course, I guarantee he buys real estate and undervalues it when, of course, he's getting tax proposals and how much money he's going to have to pay, but overvalues it on loans that he's going to get and maximum insurance value. Let's be honest. That's what real estate giants do. If you don't do it, you'll be an idiot because the process allows you to. It's sad that they're going against, of course, Trump because he's a political rival. The decision to even bring the case against Trump, wait until he's actually campaigning for office. She could have done it right when he got out of office, or Joe Biden got elected, let's say. It's crazy. And James, of course, is saying Donald Trump is no longer here. Donald Trump's show is over, and there's nothing more than a political stunt. That's a political stunt of what they're trying to do now. They're prosecuting Trump in the public. And the Trump campaign, of course, is blasting the DOJ for a gag order during the New York fraud trial because he's not allowed to say anything at all, criticizing the Department of Justice or criticizing anything of that amount, or intimidated witnesses from overseeing and those overseeing the cases. It's ridiculous. He's not allowed to criticize them. They can say intimidate all they want, but criticizing somebody is a fundamental right of the First Amendment. He has not threatened them. He can say whatever he wants to say about them. That is the fundamental law of the country. That's the reason we have freedom of speech. And if I'm going to defend Joe Schmo's freedom of speech that wants to say they don't want cops anymore, or they don't want to get charged for stealing stuff from a jewelry store, that's their freedom of speech. They can say whatever they want, and I'm going to defend it. Whether I believe in it or not, that's another question. But watching this farce happen in New York City and the counter-programming of legal aptitude, destroying the Constitution and all its mean and matter, this fraud trial is a fraud at this point. There was no victim. All the banks that, of course, the supposedly inflation of property value that it took loans against were already paid back with interest. No complaining party there. And this is a joke. Having a strong business empire that catapulted him into fame, and of course he got in the White House in 2016, and he should be there still. watching these cases loom over him and federal indictments over his efforts to, of course, get a true vote in 2020. It's just a sham trial that's happening in New York. And it's not enough to satisfy the tyrant's thirst of power. Now that Biden's Department of Justice once again requesting a gag order against him, stopping him from talking about anything. Joe Biden has weaponized the DOJ. The Democratic Party has weaponized it, stripping away any potential of a fair First Amendment. The First Amendment right, the freedom of speech, and 2024 presidential election is gone. What's next? This is a bitter truth that's happening in America and unfolding every day. These federal cases that are centering on Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, as saying in his role on January 6th, he never said, go break into the Capitol. He said, go to the Capitol and peacefully protest, peacefully. And let me remind you that when he said that, when he actually said go to the Capitol, the people that were breaking in the Capitol were already inside. Because we had to cut back and forth when that was happening. I was live. I was covering the event as it happened. And it's sad to say that, of course, Trump could be now charged in January 6th. He shouldn't even be a joke of being charged for trying to overturn the 2020 election, because he has every right to question the election results. We live in America. We don't live in freaking China. We don't live in Iran. Meanwhile, Trump's making sure he sits in on this trial. This is a joke. Tensions are running high during cross-examination of the Trump accounting of Donald Bender, which, of course, if the accountant Donald Bender was the one that valued these properties and Trump had no direct involvement in some of these evaluations, why is he being charged directly? Of course, nobody's talking about that. I mean, falsely overvaluing some of the Trump properties, saying, including Trump Tower and Mar-a-Lago in Florida. First of all, he valued them at $150 million, and they were worth a lot more than that. So he overvalued them, but yet they're worth more than what he valued them for. Legitimate. Just make sure we stand on the same page there. The New York judge thinking he knows all about real estate, knowing the pricing of real estate and what it should be worth. Now, Trump pays more taxes on the property than $150 million a year on the Mar-a-Lago property. His tax base on that is a lot higher. So he pays property taxes and insurance at a much higher rate. So if it's only worth $18 million, according to Judge Arthur Agronom, whatever his name is, then Trump deserves to get that money back that he paid for taxes on, right? That premium of tax payment that he had to pay out every year. Of course, the court doesn't care about that. The court says he should be paying that much. Since when do we unfairly judge if you say a price or property is only worth $18 million, but he's getting taxed at $150 million, but he should be getting taxed at $150 million for that property? That doesn't make any sense. This is truly a joke. Truly a joke. And the personal attacks, of course, against Trump that are happening and against Republican members all around the country are unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Watching this all unfold, Biden's plans are to announce more student loan forgiveness. Biden outlines a new round of federal loan forgiveness today for unsubstantiated debt that borrowers accumulated during the completion of education. Why would I pay for somebody else's debt? $9 billion, of course, is what he wants to pay off now. It's a joke. So far, borrowers have 3.6 million borrowers have had $1.7 billion of debt wiped out since Biden took office. And he's not done yet. So American taxpayer money, and the money, I paid for my college, I'm sure you paid for yours, or paying for it right now. He plans on wiping out student debt for these people that aren't truly going out and working. They want to work at McDonald's for $25 an hour and have their student debt paid off for them after they went and got a college degree. And you wonder why the country is failing on such an epic scale. This minimum wage increase that happened in California, and of course, all unfolding at the same time in this country, is happening for a reason. And I can tell you why it's happening. Wage increases, massive inflation. What happens is the debt that our country has becomes devalued. So what if people start making $100 an hour as minimum wage instead of $20 an hour? Because it's going to happen eventually. I'm warning you. This is coming. Prices are going to be $100 for a loaf of bread, and everybody will be okay with it because minimum wage is so high. That $33 trillion in debt will seem like pennies in a bucket at that point. Because the amount people are getting paid will be through the roof. It'll be astronomical. And that's what's unfolding. That's what this White House is trying to do. They're devaluing American currency, slowly and surely, now trying to push it even faster by making minimum wage leaps and bounds. These jumps in minimum wage. And the problem is, in the states that aren't trying to push the same baloney or malarkey, are getting hit. The families there are getting hit because they're still getting paid $7.25 an hour or $8 an hour. So forgiving debt and raising minimum wage just makes a joke out of the rest of the country. And Biden doesn't care. Biden doesn't care about what it actually does in the long run. All these people thinking, oh, I work at McDonald's and I get $25 an hour. I'm making a bank. They don't realize what's happening and what the Biden administration is doing. They're using this to manipulate the market against the public. And if people don't wake up, it's going to be too late at this point. Now, one thing the Biden administration did do today that is great news, and I got to say it's great. I got to thank Biden for actually doing it. The Biden administration finally waived 26 federal laws to allow the border wall construction in South Texas to continue finally. That's right. Biden administration announced today they waived 26 federal laws in South Texas to allow the border wall construction to continue finally. Finally, we're doing something about the border. Of course, this is marking the first time the administration has used the presidential powers to do something the same as Trump's done. The Department of Homeland Security posted the announcement today that on the Federal Registry with a few deals outlining the construction in Star, Texas County, in which part of the busiest border patrol sector is seeing high illegal entry, according to the government data. About 250 illegal immigrants have been recorded in that region during this year so far. So after all the horses are out, all the people are in, they're finally going to build the border wall. They're going to immediately need this is their memo that they stated out from the DHS secretary today. There is presently an acute and immediate need for construction of physical barriers and roads in the vicinity of the border of the United States in order to prevent unlawful entry of into the United States and projected areas. It's a little too late. It's a little too late. I gotta say that over and over again. It's a little too late. Come on. America sees what you're trying to do. The citizens see what you're trying to do. This is nothing more than an appeasement or some way to make people think you're doing right by them. Of course, they still have to get funds approved from congressional appropriations, but there's still money set aside from 2019 for border wall construction. From back when Trump was president. Yeah, they'll build it at a snail's pace, but at least they're building. That's all I got to say to that. I mean, it's ridiculous. This has been unfolding for the last several years, and nobody's done anything about it. Now they're going to say, oh, it's a problem. after America's been overrun by immigrants throughout the country. Let's be honest, we don't have space. We don't have money. Just wait, they're going to institute the draft and watch those immigrants run back across the border. Because that's what's happening next. Don't believe me? Go look at the Army General's report for military stability. And not only that, now, of course, the IMF is continuing U.S. support for Ukraine despite no money actually coming from Congress. And the National Monetary Fund says they'll take promissory notes basically from the president to send money to Ukraine, even though Congress hasn't approved the money. Now, that sounds kind of weird. That sounds like they're going to force America to pay that bill no matter what. $6 billion in Ukrainian aid is going to go forward here in the short term. $6 billion. It's not clear how and when the aid installments might be restored to pay this back. But, of course, we're sending another $6 billion to Ukraine through the IMF, which is a joke. This is unconstitutional against any kind of federal law in our country. I mean, so far, just committed to the military funding. We're not talking about humanitarian aid or anything else. The United States has sent over $70 billion. Now, if we conclude the real military funding, which includes all funding sent to Ukraine, including financial, humanitarian, and all the rest of that, we're talking about over $140 billion since the start of this war. Let's be honest, that number is nothing to sneeze at. That's a big money. Big, big money. How they pick who goes in the draft, I'm guaranteeing they're going to pick Republicans first. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to find a way. Because let's be honest, you can't send a whole bunch of soy boys to fight a war. It doesn't work. But the U.S. is also playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse with Iran, now seizing Iranian munitions, and now we're going to deliver them to Ukraine? More than 1 million Iranian rounds of munition were seized by the U.S. military late last year, and now they're being sent to Ukraine to assist in efforts to repel the Russian invasion. So we're going to seize weapons from a foreign nation that we have no right to touch their items or military or anything else. We're going to seize their weapons and munitions, and we're going to do whatever we want with them. We're stealing Iranian oil at a large rate. I don't know if anybody has talked about that, but yet we're going to keep doing it. Yeah, it'll be girls and boys. Yeah, the new draft is going to call for girls or boys at 18 and up. So, all this, of course, unfolding. It's just a joke. I don't know how they think our country or our people don't understand what's happening. Because if they don't by now, they're not going to. But it's sad watching this unfold. And watching Russia, of course, do their emergency test. Now, our emergency test was a broadcast sent out to our nation's people today. And it came through a presidential alert like I said it would, which they said it wouldn't, but of course, that's what it did. Now we should watch Russia with their emergency alert system test today, and their emergency test today, move millions of people into bunkers within minutes. Citizens, not just government officials, not military personnel. We're talking citizens. Massive amounts of citizens moved easily into shelters. A country that's prepared for war is what we've seen today happen in Russia as they did their nuclear preparedness test. That's right. Russia has got at least a sense of what's happening. They see what's happening with NATO leadership all meeting in Poland. Nobody's talking about it. You didn't get an alert, then you'll get one on the 11th. Be prepared for that. That's going to be a whole nother story. But God bless you guys. It's crazy, crazy town out there, and it's only going to get crazier as days go on. But be prepared. There's nothing like that here. There's nothing like the systems they have there in old world Russia. U.S. elites are the only ones that have shelters. Sad. God bless you guys. God bless America for the country we need to be. Pray we go back to the country we need to be. But see you guys tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Till then, be safe, be secure, and be prepared.